Ladies and gentlemen,
St. Louis Cardinals in town for a weekend series at Coors Field. Rockies going 500 on their road trip against the Diamondbacks, where they took 2 of 3, then losing 2 of 3 to the Padres. Now back at Coors Field at the 500 mark on the season, 9-9, looking to go above that today. Antonio SimTaco will get the start for the Rockies. He's had a solid start to the season, 14 2/3 innings, 8 strikeouts, 4 walks, 15 hits allowed. His ERA sits at 3.07, 0-1 the record. This is his 4th start of the season. And St. Louis Cardinals returned to the postseason last year as Kolten Wong leads off. They won the National League West. It was 3 straight seasons postseason drought for them. First pitch to Kolten Wong is taken for a strike. So 3rd place in the National League West now are the Rockies. Padres still in first. They certainly did all they needed to do to stay in first place in that series against the Rockies earlier this week. 0-1 pitch to Wong is swung on and lined on a hop to short. Story makes the play, and that is out number 1. Let's look at the starting lineup for the St. Louis Cardinals. After Wong at second base, batting second, former Rocky Dexter Fowler is in right field. Batting third, first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. Batting cleanup, the shortstop Paul DeYoung. Batting fifth at third base, it's Matt Carpenter. Batting sixth in left field, Tyler O'Neill. Center fielder bats seventh, that's Lane Thomas. Here's Dexter Fowler, former Rocky, playing right field today, hitting .205 on the young season, batting second for the Cardinals today. First pitch is swung on and fouled out of play. So, Cardinals swept they defeated the Braves in the division series last year. Then they ran into the Washington Nationals, who swept them in the NLCS. There's a swing and a foul out of play. It's quickly 0-2 on Dexter Fowler. 91-71 record for the Cardinals last year. This 0-2 pitch is swung on and fouled off. Paul Goldschmidt signed an extension with the Cardinals after being traded to them this past offseason from the Diamondbacks. This pitch to Fowler is taken high. Home plate umpire Darryl Parker, first base Matthew Ross, Dave Lawrence at second, Ricky Halladay at third. Those are your umpires today. Paul Goldschmidt's extension kicks in this year, 5-year, $130 million deal, $26 million each year of that deal. Swung on and popped up by Fowler. That's going to go foul and out of play. This is Yadier Molina, who's about to be 38. His final year of his 3-year, $60 million deal with the Cardinals as Fowler takes strike 3 called, and that's out number 2. And that'll bring up Paul Goldschmidt. Rocky's certainly familiar with him. He's off to a good start to the year. 338, 5 home runs, 15 driven in. First pitch from SimTaco is taken for a strike. Goldschmidt, good numbers in his career against these Rockies. So we saw Will Myers for the Padres seem to be that Rockies killer. Then when Goldschmidt was on the D-backs, very much the same. Goldschmidt is good against everybody, as the rest of the National League Central has found out. 0-1 pitch from SimTaco is swung on and missed. Quickly 0-2 on Goldschmidt. And that 0-2 is taken outside. So Dexter Fowler is in the 4th year of his deal, of his 5-year deal, before he hits the free agent market again. Close to just turning 34 is Fowler. This 1-2 pitch from SimTaco is taken low with a fastball. That swung on and lined foul down the left field line. This is the final year of Kolten Wong's contract. He does have a club option for 2021. 2-2 pitch to Goldschmidt is swung on and lined up the gap into right center field. Over to cut it off will be Dahl. That'll hold Goldschmidt. Well, Dahl drops the ball, and Goldschmidt's on his way to second base, and he's going to be in there with 2 outs. There'll be a single and an E8 error on Dahl, who just overran that one a little bit. And that'll bring up Paul DeYoung. Shortstop for the Cardinals. First pitch is taken high with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. DeYoung on the season hitting .255, .356 on base percentage, so he's taking his walks. 1 home run, 8 driven in. Paul DeYoung is in the third year of a 6-year, $26 million deal. He's eminently affordable, only making $1.67 million this year. There's a swing and a foul out of play, 1 ball, 1 strike. A couple of club options for the 2024 and 25 seasons for DeYoung. Matt Wieters signed with the Cardinals on a 1-year, $2 million deal to catch for them. Brad Miller also on a 1-year, $2 million deal. There's a swing and a high fly ball towards right field. Blackman's going back on this one. He's got it in range. He will make the catch, and that'll retire the side. Rockies due up in the bottom of the first, scoreless ball game. Dakota Hudson gets the start for the St. Louis Cardinals today. 16 2/3 innings to start the year. 13 strikeouts, 8 walks. He had an issue with walks last year, though he got better as the season wore on for the Cardinals and was a force in the postseason for them. So his whip is at 150, ERA at 3.24 early on in this season. David Dahl, who made that error in the top of the first inning, will lead off for the Rockies. He's on a 5-game hitting streak, 236 on the year. Couple of runs batted in, no home runs yet. He leads the team in doubles, and he's been better as of late after, on that road trip, much better than he was in the first series of the season on the road, and then the first homestand. So Cardinals right now are last place in the NL Central. They're 9-10. They're trying to improve to 500 today. Rockies trying to get a game above 500. 0-1 pitch coming to Dahl is swung on and pulled foul down the right field line. Quickly 0-2 on Dahl. Other contract situations for the Cardinals, they have a reworking of their deal with Matt Carpenter as Dahl really gets tied up and swings and misses for out number 1. Matt Carpenter is in the first year of a 2-year, $39 million deal. There's a vesting option for 2022 for him. Miles Michaelis is on a 4-year, $68 million extension. This is his first year of that. Carlos Martinez is in the 4th year of a 5-year, $51 million deal as Trevor Story is the batter. A couple of club options for him as well. This is the final year of a 2-year, $25 million deal for reliever Andrew Miller. He has a vesting option for 2021. Brett Cecil is in the final year of his 4-year, $30.5 million contract. And returning to the Cardinals this year was Adam Wainwright for a 1-year, $5 million deal. Story takes a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike. Adam Wainwright, the Cardinal for his entire career, is going to be 39 on August 30th. Signing for one more go-around with the Cardinals. Maybe more, we'll see. Story takes the pitch way inside, 3 balls and a strike with Charlie Blackman waiting on deck. There's a swing and a miss. Count goes full. And the 3-2 pitch from Hudson to Story is just a bit low, ball 4. 1 out walk to Trevor Story. That'll put a runner on for Charlie Blackman. Dakota Hudson continues to struggle with walks early on this year. It's his Achilles heel. Charlie Blackman's hitting .213 with 2 home runs, 6 driven in, still trying to get things going consistently this year. Story on first base after his walk. That's with 1 out. Story's in motion. The pitch is a strike, and Story will steal second base. So runner in scoring position now for Charlie Blackman. 0-1 is low and away. Another player the Cardinals brought in this offseason was Kwang Hyun Kim, a 2-year, $8 million deal. There's a pitch off the plate, 2-1 the count. Playing in the KBO, Korean Baseball Organization, for his entire career was Kim. Be 31 years old now for the Cardinals when he makes his first appearance for them. At a 2.51 ERA in 2019 in the KBO. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 2 on Blackman. 2-2 pitch is taken inside. Count goes full. Nolan Arenado waiting on deck, hitting .343 on his hot start to the year. And the 3-2 is swung on and missed to get him on strikes. So 2 strikeouts in this inning and a walk so far for Hudson. Story also with a stolen base is now on second base. We'll see if Arenado can put one in play. .343 average, as we mentioned, his OPS is at 1170, 7 home runs, 17 runs batted in. A really hot start to the season for Nolan Arenado. We have come accustomed to it. Hudson takes a look at second base where Story is, delivers his first pitch to Arenado, and it's taken for a strike at the knees. And that one's low. 1 ball and 1 strike. That's in there. 1-2 the count. Patrick Saunders of the Denver Post had a mailbag article a couple days ago. We'll talk about that after this 1-2 pitch to Arenado. It's swung on and driven to left. Way back, and that ball is gone. 2-run home run for Nolan Arenado gets the Rockies on the board early in this one. His 8th home run of the season leads this team 2-0 Rockies in the first. It's a good way to start off this homestand. Story scoring ahead of him. Let's look at the metrics on this one with ShowTrack. 111.2 mile per hour exit velocity, a 24.42 degree launch angle, 5.87 second hanging time, and that one was a bomb, folks. 467 feet off the bat. So with that loud sound, it's 2-0 Rockies. That'll bring up Daniel Murphy. He swings and pulls one foul. Murphy really a hot stretch lately. 314, 2 home runs, 7 driven in, a 387 on base percentage. Really got things going in the last homestand after a rough series on the road to start the year, a couple of series. That swung on and cued foul really came in on Murphy that time, and it's quickly 0-2. One of the questions Patrick Saunders got in his mailbag post was about the rebuilt playing surface story at Coors Field. We told you that in one of our previous broadcasts. 0-2 pitch to Murphy is swung on and aligns right to the shortstop DeYoung, and that'll retire the side, but not before Nolan Arenado puts the Rockies on the board first with a big fly. It's 2-0 Rockies 467 feet later. Let's go to the second inning.
Leading off for the Cardinals, the third baseman, number
Matt Carpenter leads off the second inning, playing third base today. 246 home run on the year, 343 on base percentage. He is also drawing his walks, like Paul DeYoung was before him. Antonio Senzatella out for his second inning of work. First pitch is swung on and fouled out of play. So a question Patrick Saunders was asked in his mailbag post was about what the Mark Razum and the staff are doing right now while we are playing simulated baseball. Real baseball is not occurring. So what are they doing right now? Well, Saunders writes that don't have to cut the grass and screen the infield every day like they would if games were being played, but they are checking in several times a week. There was snow this week in Denver, so that put their jobs on hold. Luke from Arvada wrote in, to Patrick Saunders' posts, and he asked this question. We'll pick it up after the 1-2 that swung on and fouled. He said, Patrick, the radical ideas baseball is coming up with just to get games going is dumb. Only games in Florida and Arizona, restructured divisions, electronic strike zones, and more. Not to mention it'll be 100 degrees in Arizona this summer. I miss baseball just like the next guy, but with time it will return and it will be glorious. That is what Luke from Arvada wrote into Saunders. Saunders said he's also skeptical that any of these reported scenarios will work, as Carpenter swings and misses. That's out number 1, strikeout from Senzatella.
The left fielder, Tyler O'Neill.
One of the flaws in the plan to play games only in Arizona, Saunders writes, or in Arizona and Florida, is the fact that if the coronavirus were to break out, it could quickly spread to many players, especially if they're isolated like that. So swinging a foul out of play by Tyler O'Neill. 224 on the year, a home run, 6 runs batted in. He's the left fielder today. Saunders also said the point about the extreme heat in Arizona would be legitimate. It was an 0-1 from Senzatella to O'Neill that swung on and fouled the other way. Quickly 0-2 on Tyler O'Neill. Pitch high and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Question into the Denver Post asked what Arenado is doing right now. Well, he's hitting home runs in our simulation, but otherwise, Saunders writes that he has returned to his native Southern California where he's working out with his brother Jonah and his cousin Josh Fuentes, who's in AAA Albuquerque right now in our simulation. Jonah Arenado, I believe, is still in the Giants organization. He was the last time I checked. Swung on and missed. He got him on strikes. 2 strikeouts this inning for Senzatella.
Batting 7, the center fielder, number 35, Lane.
That'll bring up Lane Thomas. First pitch from Senzatella is taken for a strike with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Really good outing last time Senzatella pitched in Arizona, went 7 innings, only allowed 1 run on a solo home run by David Peralta. And there's a pitch outside. That is outside once more. 2-1 hitters count now on Lane Thomas. Swung on and grounded into right field, a base hit. 2-out single for Lane Thomas. They'll bring up Matt Wieters, who's doing the catching today, giving the 37-year-old Yadier Molina a day off. He'll be 38 on July 13, will Molina. Matt Wieters, former National, former Oriole. First pitch from Senzatella is a pitch out, and the runner's in motion. Throw down, and got him. Rockies picked their time to have a pitch out there and don't dash on the stash. Wolters is ready to throw him out. We go to the bottom of the second, 2-0 Rockies. Ryan McMahon will lead off this bottom of the second inning. Homered in yesterday's ball game on the final game of the road trip in San Diego. 250 on the year, 5 home runs, 13 runs batted in. 830 OPS, so quite a hot stretch right now for Ryan McMahon. Arenado, Murphy, and McMahon are all on some really hot stretches right now. His first pitch is swung on and fouled out of play by Ryan McMahon. Continuing to talk about what the real-life Rockies are doing in their real lives right now. According to pitching coach Steve Foster, he said to Saunders that there are about 15 Rockies players remaining in the Scottsdale, Arizona area right now. Starting pitchers Kyle Freeland and Jeff Hoffman are still there playing catch rather regularly. There's a pitch inside. 2-1 the count on McMahon. And that swung on and pulled foul. Not sure if anyone's keeping up with David Dahl and the MLB The Show Players League. Kyle Newman of the Denver Post had an article about this one. As there's a pitch low and the count goes full on McMahon with Ian Desmond waiting on deck. Desmond, the go-ahead RBI single in the 10th inning of the game yesterday in San Diego. David Dahl, though, predicted that his Rockies, his simulated Rockies, will make the postseason. There's a pitch inside for ball 4, and a walk to Ryan McMahon will lead off this bottom of the second inning. Ian Desmond coming to the plate. Dahl has said he had played the show a decent amount, especially while he was growing up, and in 2017 he did as well when he was injured. Ian Desmond, 228 on the year, 5 runs batted in, still looking for that first homer as we get a look at Dinger for the first time on this homestand. Really exciting the crowd, hoping Ian Desmond can continue the scoring for the Rockies. Hudson from the stretch, his first pitch is taken for a strike at the knees. So what MLB is doing with its Players League, and Monday is going to be the season opener. There's a pitch outside. Rather, Monday, this past Monday, was the season opener for their MLB The Show League. There's a player from all 30 teams participating. 1-1 pitch to Desmond is swung on and lined into left field, a base hit. First 2 Rockies aboard, McMahon and Desmond here in the bottom of the second. That'll bring up Tony Wolters now. Wolters saw his hitting streak come to an end yesterday at 6 games. First pitch from Hudson is taken for a strike. Wolters hitting .308 on the year, a .357 on base percentage. He has 5 runs batted in. He hasn't played a whole lot this year. A stint on the injured list due to a right lat strain. But he is good to go now. 0-1 pitch from Hudson is taken outside. That MLB The Show League features multiple 3 to 5 inning games between players each day. Dahl has played Trevor May of the Twins, Juan Soto of the Nationals, Gavin Lux of the Dodgers, and Carlos Santana of the Indians. 1-1 pitch is swung on and pulled foul by Wolters. You can follow the action from David Dahl on his Twitch account as Wolters swings and pops it up. First baseman Goldschmidt will make the catch. Infield fly rule was in effect. Let's look at the defense for the Cardinals now. Left to right in the outfield, it's Tyler O'Neill, Lane Thomas, Dexter Fowler. Infield corners, Matt Carpenter and Paul Goldschmidt. Up the middle, your double play combination, Paul DeYoung and Colton Wong. And the catcher will be Matt Wieters for the starter today, Dakota Hudson. Colton Wong last year won the Gold Glove for his efforts at second base. Really good year for him. On both sides of the ball, Antonio Senzatella will be the batter in a bunting situation. Couple runners on with 1 out. He pulls the bat back, takes a 96-mile-an-hour fastball high. Dahl is playing those simulated games from his house in Scottsdale. As Senzatella bunts one foul, but Dahl has also been lifting, running, throwing, and hitting to keep his normal, actual body in shape as much as he can while following the social distancing guidelines. Senzatella lays down a bunt. The third baseman Carpenter goes to second for 1 back to first, and that is a double play. Senzatella bunt grounds into a double play to end this inning after the first 2 Rockies reach. It remains 2-0 Colorado after a couple innings of play. Matt Wieters was batting in the top of the second inning when Lane Thomas was thrown out on a pitch out trying to steal second base. So the first pitch to Wieters now will be taken for a strike. Count resets as Wieters gets another plate appearance to work with. 0-1 from Senzatella is swung on and grounded into the shift. Second baseman McMahon's got a long throw, and he makes a nice play by Ryan McMahon. Even with the slow catcher Matt Wieters running, that was a nice play. Here's how the NL West shakes up right now. Padres have a 1.5 game lead on the Dodgers. Rockies 2.5 out at the 500 mark. 9-11 are the Giants, 3.5 out, and then 7-13 now are the D-backs. They're 5.5 back, burying themselves a little bit early. There's still time in the NL West. Dakota Hudson, the pitcher, will bat with 1 out here in the third. There's a strike. Senzatella facing his former counterpart, hopes to make quick work of him. As Senzatella was made quick work of at the plate in his plate appearance in the bottom of the second inning, bunt grounding into that double play to end the bottom of the second. There's a swing and a line drive foul the other way. Here comes a 1-2. And that's swung on and chopped weakly to third base. Arenado coming in's got time and makes the play for out number 2. That'll turn the lineup over for the Cardinals now, and we will see Colton Wong once again. Wong grounded out his first time up back in the first inning, so he's 0 for 1. 268 with a home run, 6 runs batted in on the year. First pitch from Senzatella to Wong is taken low. One final point we want to make about the MLB Players Tournament. Major League Baseball is donating $5,000 to a local Boys and Girls Club on behalf of each participating player, and the winner of the tournament gets an additional $25,000 donation for his affiliate. And here's a 1-1 pitch now, and that's swung on and popped up. Third baseman Arenado camping under it, and he will put it away. That'll retire the side. We go to the bottom of the third inning. That was a quick inning for Senzatella. It's still 2-0 Rockies. They're the top of the order, due up. David Dahl struck out his first time up, so he's 0 for 1. He'll lead off this bottom of the third inning. First pitch is taken for a strike. Another article from Kyle Newman at the Denver Post that's highly recommended is talking about a comparison of the Rockies to the Moneyball teams like the Oakland A's of 2002. And the question is, how satisfied would Billy Beane be if he ran the Rockies? Because the Moneyball teams that we think of are teams that use sabermetrics to understand players' true value in the marketplace. As Dahl swings and misses, he's looked a little bit rough at the plate today. He struck out twice on some pitches well out of the zone. That's out number 1. Billy Beane was the general manager of the Oakland A's from 1998 to 2016. Now he is the team's executive vice president of baseball operations. Trevor Story will be the batter. Walked in his first plate appearance of the game. First pitch outside of the 94-mile-an-hour fastball. And Billy Beane's blueprint has been copied with success by the Tampa Bay Rays, even the Boston Red Sox, though they are not a team that's hurting for money, are the Red Sox. Story swings and lines one into right field, a base hit. Story had a few hits in yesterday's ball game, and now he's got a walk and a hit this game, so maybe this will get things going for Story on the year, trying to get that batting average up towards the Mendoza line. Charlie Blackmon will be the batter. Story goes again, pitches a strike, throw down, and not in time. Story steals his second base of the day. And now he's got himself in scoring position. Story running wild on the base paths today. Here's an 0-1 to Blackmon, and that swung on and pulled foul. So how do those Moneyball teams compare to what the Rockies did? Well, in 2019, there were certainly some deals on the roster. Trevor Story was only making $5 million, and he's among one of the best shortstops in the game. Blackmon takes the pitch inside. David Dahl only made the league minimum. German Marquez and Scott Oberg making about $1.3 million each. But then you go to some other players, as Blackmon fouls and out of play, who are kind of the antithesis, as Newman writes, of a Moneyball roster. That's Wade Davis, Ian Desmond, Daniel Murphy, Jake McGee, and Brian Shaw, who all made a lot of money and all produced not a whole lot of value, according to wins above replacement. There's strike 3 called, and Blackmon goes down by way of the K. 2 outs now for Nolan Arenado. That was the situation back in the first inning with Story stealing a base and getting on second base. Then Arenado came to the plate after Dahl and Blackman had both struck out, and Arenado hit a home run. So again, a home run, a first time up for Arenado. We'll see how Hudson handles him here. First pitch is swung on and lined towards right field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Story will be waved around third. Throw to the plate by Fowler is cut off. And it's 3-0 Rockies. RBI single for Nolan Arenado. Scores Trevor Story ahead of him. And that's the third RBI of the day for Nolan Arenado, who continues his hot stretch to start this year. That'll bring up Daniel Murphy. Next pitch will be number 50 of the day from Dakota Hudson. Pitch to Murphy is taken down and in. So here's how some players were last year in terms of WAR and how much money they made. Wade Davis made $18 million, had a WAR of minus 1.4. Ian Desmond made $15 million for a negative 1.8 WAR. Daniel Murphy made $10 million as he grounds one to second base. Wong will flip to DeYoung at second base, and that'll retire the side. We'll talk more about the values coming up. Go through 3 innings, 3-0 Rockies. Dexter Fowler leads off the 4th inning against Antonio Senzatella, who's off to another solid start today. First pitch is taken high and away with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Pull shift on for Fowler. See McMahon into the shallow right field grass. And the 1-0 is swung on and fouled the other way. Fowler, a switch hitter. 1-1 pitch from Senzatella is taken for a strike. Senzatella into his motion, the windup, and the 1-2 pitch is taken inside. Count evens at 2. Just to finish up that conversation about money and value from Rockies players last year, Jake McGee and Brian Shaw both made $8.5 million and were worth 0.3 and 0.5 WAR respectively. Swing and a miss. Senzatella gets Fowler on strikes, and that's out number 1. Let's look at our pitch speed comparison from tops. 97 miles per hour Senzatella has hit today. Dakota Hudson has thrown 96. Both pitchers can touch the high 90s in this one. So those players that we talked about, Wade Davis, Ian Desmond, Daniel Murphy, Jake McGee, and Brian Shaw, they were responsible for 38% of Colorado's payroll last year. First pitch to Paul Goldschmidt's taken inside. In 2019, the Rockies were 12th in the league in on-base percentage. And their OPS plus, which is a stat that normalizes OPS by adjusting for variables such as park effects, Colorado's OPS plus was 26th in baseball. There's a strike on the inside corner. That's 1 ball and 1 strike on Goldschmidt. Rockies also 23rd in walks last year. There's a swing and a miss, strike 2. Senzatella's got it going today. There's a swing and a miss. He got him on strike. Senzatella striking out everybody. That's out number 2.
Number 11, shortstop, Paul DeYoung.
I'll bring up Paul DeYoung. First pitch from Senzatella is taken on the outside corner for a strike. DeYoung flied out his first time up. He's 0 for 1. So Rockies had 489 walks last year. That ranks 23rd in baseball. Also 26th in pitches seen per plate appearance. A 1 pitch from Senzatella here is taken high. Colorado was also caught stealing 31 times, which is 8th worst in Major League Baseball. And their 51 sacrifice bunts were 2nd most in baseball. So that would be as Kyle Newman writes, a mortal sin for a Moneyball team. There's a pitch outside, 2-1 the count. As giving away outs is one of the main things that was preached there by those Moneyball teams that Billy Beane was running. Just swinging a line drive towards right field. That's going to get over the head of Blackman towards the corner. And that will be a double with 2 outs for Paul DeYoung.
The third baseman, Matt Carpenter.
Matt Carpenter will be the batter now with 2 outs, runner on second base. DeYoung after his double. Sensatella looks at second base briefly and delivers first pitch inside.
That's inside.
"1-0 is swung on and chopped, weakly foul. Jack Etkin covers the Rockies for Forbes. He had an article about a spring training prospect for the Rockies, an undrafted prospect in spring training, whose first spring training ended abruptly due to the COVID-19 pandemic. There's a pitch high.
One strike.
That swung on and shot foul. So it was pitcher Andrew DiPiazza who signed a minor league contract with the Rockies. Had to fly 5 hours across the country from his New Jersey home to throw a bullpen at the Rockies complex in Scottsdale, with 5 members of the organization scouting him. 6'7", 240 pounds, DiPiazza. And after his tryout, he was told he would sign a contract, a minor league contract with the Rockies. There's a line drive foul by Carpenter. So DiPiazza was a high-profile prospect in high school, then had elbow surgery in February 2015 during his 1 year at Alabama. He had a bone spur removed. There's a ground ball to first base. Murphy will take it himself. We'll talk more about the story of DiPiazza when we return. It's 3-0 Rockies going to the bottom of the 4th. 3-0 Rockies here in the bottom of the 4th. Manager Bud Black and pitching coach Steve Foster talking it over. They've seen good things from Antonio Sensatella today. Second straight really good start for him. Ryan McMahon will lead off here in the bottom of the 4th. First plate appearance, he drew a walk.
The second baseman.
We're continuing to tell the story Jack Etkin of Forbes wrote about a prospect named Andrew DiPiazza. So yeah, he had 1 year at Alabama, 2 years at a community college in New Jersey, another 2 years at Rowan University in Glassboro, New Jersey. He went undrafted after each of his years at Rowan. But he also had the good fortune to have Will George, one of the Rockies' professional scouts, not just invite him to a workout with a bunch of other undrafted players, but then got him a job in an independent league last summer, and they worked together during the winter. There's a pitch off the plate, 2-1 the count on McMahon. So DiPiazza flew back from Phoenix to Newark and returned to his Bayville, New Jersey home on February 22. And he was really excited. He was like, in less than 2 weeks, he'd be headed back to Scottsdale, and minor league spring training will be starting again. So McMahon lines one on a hop to the shortstop, DeYoung, who makes a nice play to throw him out for out number 1. That'll bring up Ian Desmond. DiPiazza, 24 years old. And then his joy was, unfortunately, it had to come to an end March 12 with the COVID-19 pandemic. Minor leaguers all sent home. And he flew back to New Jersey.
0-1.
Ian Desmond's on an 0-1 count now. And there's really no guarantee when or if he'll return this season to train in Arizona to prepare for the season. Minor League Baseball lacks the option that Major League Baseball has about playing in empty ballparks in Arizona. As Minor League Baseball needs to focus on buying tickets for their revenue. Ground ball hit to short. DeYoung over to make the play, throws to first, and that is out number 2. But DiPiazza said that, well, he has matured, especially after having surgery. He's realized there's just stuff that you can't control. And it's bigger than baseball at this point. Especially, so he's from New Jersey, right next to New York. Those are the 2 worst states for what they've experienced during this pandemic.
0-1, no strike.
Mark Wiley is the director of pitching operations for the Rockies. Here's what he had to say about how DiPiazza performed. He said he did stuff that sometimes they look at right away to determine interest in the guy. He's got a power arm, can spin a breaking ball. He did some things, especially from a guy with that kind of size and ability to leverage the ball, and he was really impressed by him. They're looking for him to repeat his delivery more to get the same release point so it can translate into more consistent velocity. Wolters takes a pitch low for ball 4, a 2-out walk to him. That'll put a run around for Antonio SimTaco.
The pitcher, number 49, Antonio SimTaco.
Piazza said they were really looking forward, Wiley said they were really looking forward to having DiPiazza in spring training so they could start working with him. SimTaco takes a strike on the outside corner.
0-1's the count.
Swing and a miss, quickly 0-2 on SimTaco. DiPiazza left Alabama and enrolled at Mercer County Community College in West Windsor, New Jersey. Went 12-1 with a 1.50 ERA in 14 starts in 2016. Walked 25 and struck out 109 in 84 innings. Then the Giants took him in the 39th round of the first-year player draft. DiPiazza did not sign. And then he returned to Mercer, then went to Rowan. He said he didn't sign because of his draft stock being low after the surgery or because of the money. He just said he didn't feel ready for professional baseball yet, wanted to continue to get better in college. Pitch outside to SimTaco. DiPiazza went 8-2 with a 3.44 ERA in 12 starts in 2017 at Mercer. He moved on to Rowan, went 7-1 with a 1.49 ERA in 10 starts in 2018, and 6-1 with a 3.03 ERA in 10 games across 8 starts in 2019. SimTaco lines one right to the second baseman Wong, and that'll retire the side. We'll talk more about DiPiazza in the 5th. It's still 3-0 Rockies. Tyler O'Neill leads off his 5th inning. SimTaco has looked very good. James Pazos and Carlos Estevez are warming up in the bullpen just in case. First pitch is swung on and pulled foul. Oh, 1. And that's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's Estevez, the righty on the left, and Pazos, the lefty on the right, from your viewer perspective. Continuing to tell the story of Andrew DiPiazza, minor league pitcher in the Rockies organization. Jack Etkin of Forbes has a good article. You should read the entire thing in its entirety. Rockies scout Will George, here's what he had to say about how DiPiazza pitched at Rowan. Said he was very inconsistent. Scouts came away with varying opinions depending on the day they saw him pitch. And threw pretty well for some scouts, not for others. In his final year at Rowan, DiPiazza was not drafted, which ended with him 2 courses shy of a degree in law and justice. Then went to work for a landscaping service nearby Toms River. He was putting in 50 to 55 hours a week and not thinking much about baseball. There's a swing and a miss. SimTaco, another strikeout. This time he gets Tyler O'Neill. I'll bring up Lane Thomas. Got a base at his first time up, then was caught stealing on a pitch out. Next pitch will be number 69 of the day from Antonio SimTaco. And it's taken a little bit low. So after the draft, DiPiazza said he thought his career was over. He was upset, wanted to focus on anything else. Then we enter George.
No, that's down.
Rockies scout Will George, who lives in Milford, Delaware. Spent most of his life in New Jersey. He invited DiPiazza and 5 other undrafted players to work out at Dover High School in Delaware during the All-Star break last July. Dover coach is a friend of George's, and it's a pretty good field over there. 3-0 pitch is a strike to Thomas from SimTaco. And as Etkin writes, George is all for giving players like this another look and hopes one might merit signing and ultimately help the Rockies organization. Now, when they looked at him, DiPiazza was at 92 to 94 miles per hour when he was throwing at Dover. But since the first-year player draft had occurred a month earlier, George didn't attempt to sign him. Rockies didn't need any more players. They already had plenty for their 2 short-season teams that had started to play 3 weeks earlier. And in August, George got a call from Joe Calfapietra, manager of the Kansas City T-Bones. There's a foul out of play. In the Independent American Association. Calfapietra had a lengthy history of managing a team in New Jersey in the Independent Can-Am League. So swinging a ground ball, diving stop by Arenado. It's off his glove, throws to first, and not in time. That should be an infield single for Lane Thomas. That'll bring up Matt Wieters.
Nope, ball one.
So Calfapietra was in need of a pitcher, so DiPiazza went to Kansas City. Made his T-Bones debut August 19 in 6 relief appearances. He had no record, a 2.16 ERA, 2 hits, 4 walks, and 8 1/3 innings, 7 strikeouts. Thomas on the run, pitch outside, throw down by Walters is not in time. This time, Lane Thomas steals the base. That's his first steal of the season. And he's in scoring position now. It's a 2-0 count on Matt Wieters. 2-0 from Senzatella is taken low, 3-0 now. Pitcher spot waiting on deck. It is Dakota Hudson at the moment. We'll see if they want to send him out there for another plate appearance. So September, returning to the Midwest, DiPiazza sought out Rob Rabenos, Director of Sports Performance at the Maple Zone Sports Institute in Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania, which is about 30 miles south of Philadelphia. It's inside, ball 4, and Wieters draws a walk. So from September until he signed with the Rockies, DiPiazza was traveling once a month to Rabena's facility for an updated assessment. Bud Black out to make a pitching change, and that's all for Antonio Senzatella today, who has looked strong for the most part. But Bud Black looking to make a move. New pitcher will be Jeff Hoffman, long reliever for the Rockies. 14 2/3 innings on the year. He has 14 strikeouts and 5 walks. Lefties have hit him well, righties have not. So the ERA right now sitting at 4.30. 5th game, this will be the 6th game of the year for Jeff Hoffman. Has a couple of starts in there as he got some starting action while Kyle Freeland was on the injured list. He can provide you some length for sure. Dakota Hudson will take the plate appearance himself. As there's a bunt towards third base, it's a pretty good one. Arenado will only have a play at first base. Runners will advance to second and third with 1 out. So Senzatella only making it through 4 1/3 innings today. That's a sacrifice 5-3. Arenado to Murphy. I'll turn the lineup over for Colton Wong. 2 runners in scoring position, both Senzatella's responsibility. Wong 0 for 2, a pop out and a ground out in this one. Bud Black not taking any chances today, it looks like. First pitch to Wong from Hoffman is swung on and fouled out of play. So DiPiazza was following a program tailored for him by Rabena 5 days a week, with the ability to videotape his workouts and send them to Rabena for his critique. DiPiazza said he thought that would be the best thing for his career. So then from mid-January until he left about a month later for his February workout with the Rockies in Arizona, DiPiazza was driving 75 minutes to Philadelphia twice a week, where he met George, a former pitcher and pitching coach, in a South Philadelphia facility that had a clay mound. DiPiazza never really had a true slider, so instead of, he threw a pitch that had cutter action, and it was inconsistent. So George worked with him on staying behind the ball and keeping his weight back while reshaping and reworking his slider. And George said it went from 82 to 83 up to 85 to 89 after that work. Wong's going to flare one going out as a shortstop. Story, he'll get there and make the catch. We go to the bottom of the 5th as the side is retired. It is 3-0 Rockies. Top of the order due up for them. David Dahl has struck out twice today. He's 0 for 2 as Tyler Webb, the lefty, and Alex Reyes, the righty, are warming up in the bullpen. Dakota Hudson's still out there. His next pitch will be his 69th of the day. And that's taken in the dirt, ball 1. Look at double barrel action in the Cardinals bullpen. So George and DiPiazza worked on that slider. And that got to be a much more powerful pitch, Will George said, and went with his curveball, which sat around 82 miles per hour. Dahl swings and lines one towards right field. It's a fair ball into the corner. First hit of the day for Dahl. He's on his way to second base. Fowler picks it up, throws it in. It's an easy leadoff double here in the bottom of the fifth for Dahl, as the Rockies look to get on the board once again. 10th double of the year for David Dahl, still the team lead. We'll bring up Trevor Story. So DiPiazza returned home following his 1-week stay in minor league camp, then went to Home Depot. No gyms open, so he bought more than 15 cinder blocks and a steel pipe and rigged up a device in his backyard that would allow him to do squats. He says all he can control, what he can control, what he does on a daily basis, and how he can stay prepared. He, like other minor leaguers in the organization, receiving $400 weekly through May as part of Major League Baseball's total initiative to pay minor league players. He is definitely looking forward to coming back to camp with the Rockies, the team that gave him a chance. Story swings and lines one towards right field, going back on this one is Fowler. Still going back on a long run. That's over his head and off the wall. Dahl's going to be waiting around third. He will score. RBI double for Trevor Story makes it 4-0 Rockies here in the bottom of the fifth. Fourth double of the year for Trevor Story. So right now, DiPiazza is regularly going to a park near his house where there's a high racquetball wall, as we're going to have a pitching change. As Mike Schilt out of the Cardinals dugout, Dakota Hudson's day is done. We'll see who the next pitcher is. A lefty and a righty were both warming up. The lefty Webb and the righty Reyes in the Cardinals' pen. And it's going to be Adam Wainwright. Didn't take him long to get warmed up. Wainwright in the bullpen this year, I guess, for Mike Schilt of the Cardinals. 4.73 ERA through 13 and a third innings. This is the 8th game for Wainwright. 13 strikeouts and 11 walks. That is not the prettiest of ratios, but he will try to pitch an effective inning here. Blackman takes first pitch outside. So what DiPiazza is doing right now is he's simulating long tossing with that high racquetball wall as he aims for the top of the wall. And on the other side, there's a grassy slope, which is about the height of a regular pitching mound, 60 feet from the wall. That's just 6 inches shy of the distance from the pitching rubber to home plate. So DiPiazza changes into his spikes, throws a baseball against the wall from the slope. He says he likes to see the action on the baseball. Usually after 25 to 30 throws, it gets scuffed up, so he'll use another one the next day. It could be kind of expensive, but he says you got to do what you got to do. When he was in minor league camp, DiPiazza only threw one bullpen session, faced hitters once in batting practice. And he hit his spots, commanded his pitches, so he was looking good in terms of that. Blackman grounds one to first base. Goldschmidt will throw to the pitcher Wainwright covering. That's the first out. Story will advance to third base. Nolan Arenado will be the batter. So right now the Rockies have divided all their pitchers in the organization into pod groups, which are led by pitching coaches and coordinators. They've also set up regular Zoom meetings with information distributed by their mental skills development director, Doug Chadwick. So right now DiPiazza is in a pod led by Gonzalez, who happened to watch his one bullpen session. That's Frank Gonzalez, who is the Double-A Hartford pitching coach for the Hartford Yard Goats. Arenado takes the pitch outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Gonzalez, here's what he had to say about DiPiazza. He said he thought the ball came out okay, and he said for a big guy there was a fair amount of balance. Arenado takes the pitch low, 2-1 the count. So who knows what the summer will hold and the rest of the potential season will hold for DiPiazza. Arenado grounds one on a hop to third base. Coming home is Carpenter, and they will get Story, who is going on contact. That's out number 2. Arenado will be safe at first base. Will George says he knows one thing about DiPiazza, Andrew DiPiazza, and that is this is a kid that deserves a chance. So you should read the entire article on Forbes from Jack Etkin, who tells that nice story in this time about a feel-good story that hopefully will turn out well after this pandemic is over for Andrew DiPiazza. Daniel Murphy, the batter, takes first pitch inside. There's a Line drive on a hop to the first baseman, Goldschmidt, who takes it himself. That'll retire the side, but not before. We have an RBI double for Trevor Story, scoring David Dahl ahead of him, and that makes it 4-0 Rockies after 5. Dexter Fowler leads off this 6th inning, 0 for 2 with a couple strikeouts today. Jeff Hoffman, the batter. Dexter Fowler now as his batting average dropped to 196. Another thing happening around baseball right now in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic is Major League Baseball players and team employees are participating in a coronavirus study. Talk about that after this first pitch from Hoffman to Fowler, and it's taken for a strike. This is a massive study that's going to test up to 10,000 people for coronavirus antibodies, and the goal is to offer researchers a better sense of how widespread the disease is in major metropolitan areas across the United States, although doctors are cautioning that the data gathered is not expected to hasten the game's return. Jeff Bassan at ESPN.com has the full story on this, which you should read. 0-2 pitch coming from Hoffman to Fowler. And it's swung on and lined towards right field. Going back on this one is Blackman. And he's going to make the catch running onto the track for out number 1. Fowler hit that one hard, but into the glove of Blackman for out number 1. Study is being run by Stanford University, USC, and the Sports Medicine Research and Testing Laboratory. We're going to use test kits that draw blood via pinprick, and they offer results within 10 minutes. Paul Goldschmidt swings and grounds one to third base. Off-balance throw by Arenado gets in for out number 2. The test is going to look for the prevalence of antibodies produced relatively early in those who have been infected with COVID-19. And another antibody form that doctors say lasts long after the infection happens. So a positive test would confirm that a person did in fact contract the coronavirus, even if he or she was asymptomatic. The goal of the study is to get a better sense of the virus's true infection rate by utilizing a nationwide sample. Oh, 1 pitch now to DeYoung from Hoffman is swung on and lifted in the air towards center field. Going back on this one is Dahl. He is at the track, and he will make the catch right in front of the wall. Running catch for David Dahl. That'll put an end to this inning. As we take a look at that catch by David Dahl once again. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 4-0 Rockies. Ryan McMahon will lead off the bottom of the 6th inning. 3rd time this game he's led off an inning. He drew a walk in the 2nd. Otherwise, he's 0 for 1 as he's looking to get that .246 batting average, .321 on-base percentage up even further. The slugging percentage is good for McMahon. Just those first 2 portions of the slash line looking for improvements is he. First pitch is a strike from Adam Wainwright, who's still on the mound. So with those antibody testings, MLB Players Association says that players have... They have suggested that players participate if they would want to do so. Some teams have offered a test to all of their players, others have not. There's a swing and a foul out of play. 1-2 on McMahon. Swing and a miss, foul tip into the glove of Wieters for out number 1. Also, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease expert and one of the faces of the United States fight against the coronavirus, according to ESPN, he says the only way professional sports will happen this summer is by holding events without fans in attendance and keeping players in hotels. Ian Desmond swings and lines one towards right field. Going back on this one is O'Neill. It's over his head, and that ball is gone. Home run for Ian Desmond. His first home run of the season makes it 5-0 Rockies here in the bottom of the 6th. Line drive home run for Ian Desmond, his first of the season. Off of Adam Wainwright. Let's take a look at the show track numbers on this one. Very good wood on that ball for Desmond. He's able to just get it over the wall. Tony Wolters will be the batter now. 5-0 Rockies. First pitch from Wainwright is taken low. Olter swings as a high fly ball to right field. Going back on this one is Fowler. He's going to get there to make the catch in front of the track. And that's out number 2. Fauci, when he was interviewed, also noted that he wants to watch the Nationals again.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please.
Raimel Tapia is going to pinch hit for Jeff Hoffman. Only hitting 125 to start the year as Tapia. He got a few starts in San Diego. First pitch is a check swing on a pitch low. So yeah, Fauci saying that the only way sports are going to happen is holding events without fans in attendance and putting players in big hotels, he said. And keep them very well surveilled, have them tested every single week to make sure they don't wind up infecting each other or their family, and then just let them play the season out. So we will see what happens there. 72% of Americans polled by Seton Hall University's Stillman School of Business said they would not attend if sporting events resumed without a vaccine for the coronavirus. Just 13% of Americans said they would feel comfortable attending games the way they have in the past. But Ken Rosenthal and Evan Drellich of The Athletic had an article where they mentioned how league officials are not ready to commit to one idea before the timeline of the nation's recovery from the pandemic becomes clearer. There was a brief initial conversation on April 6 between officials from MLB and the Players Union, but they have yet to resume talks about a plan to start the season in Arizona with that quarantine empty park plan we talked about. Both sides are speaking to medical experts, and Major League Baseball continues to investigate its Arizona plan. Tapia grounds one to short. DeYoung makes the play, and that'll retire the side. We're through 6 innings. After Ian Desmond hits his first home run of the season, it's 5-0 Rockies. Carlos Estevez will pitch the 7th inning, 11 1/3 innings on the year, 16 strikeouts, 4 walks. He's got a 3.97 ERA. Righties have hit him very well, a 4.55 average. Lefties, you can see, only 1.03. First batter he will face is Matt Carpenter.
The third baseman, number 13, Matt.
He's 0 for 2 on the day, a strikeout and a ground out. First pitch from Estevez is taken for a strike. And the 0-1 pitch is going to miss low with a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. Estevez into his motion. The windup and the 1-1 pitch to Carpenter is way inside, 99-mile-an-hour fastball up and in. More from the article from Ken Rosenthal and Evan Drellich of The Athletic. Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, was on Fox Business Network earlier this week and said they have engaged in contingency planning and thought about the various scenarios in which baseball could return. But the key is the improvement in the public health situation. So the coronavirus has made the future too uncertain to advance discussions about playing. Two sides expect to remain in contact. As Carpenter swings and misses, that's the first strikeout and first out for Estevez here in the 7th.
The batter, the left fielder, Tyler O'Neill.
Also to implement that Arizona-only plan as Tyler O'Neill takes a 100-mile-per-hour fastball inside. Baseball would need to reserve entire hotels, arrange for food service, and ensure extensive testing for everyone under quarantine, all in advance. Here's a 1-0, and that's taken down and in, 2-0. Swinging a ground ball hit to third base. Arenado up with the ball, throws to first for out number 2.
The center fielder, number 35.
Miley Knight of The Athletic wrote more about the antibody tests, and the doctors are saying they hope to have the results of 10,000 tests any time now. As players and staff have already begun testing themselves at home. When the tests are complete, they are instructed to email a photo of the testing stick to a team health employee who will interpret the results and send the information along to doctors. Subjects also filling out questionnaires related to COVID-19 symptoms and other medical histories, all that information remaining anonymous. Ground ball to second base. McMahon makes the play. They'll retire the side. 1-2-3 inning 4. Carlos Estevez. 7th inning stretch time. It's 5-0 Rockies here at Coors Field.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
David Dahl will lead off the bottom of the 7th inning. It's 5-0 Rockies. 1 for 3 on the day for Dahl as a double and 2 strikeouts in this one. Adam Wainwright still on the hill. His first pitch is taken just a bit inside. And that's low and away with a breaking ball. Major League Baseball is also cutting its senior staff by 35%. And paying all staff through May. That goes from Rob Manfred as well. That's according to the Associated Press. Dahl grounds and right back to the mound. Wainwright throws to first for out number 1. Rob Manfred said his finance leaders have worked with department heads and have cut programs, canceled events, delayed capital expenditures, and renegotiated contracts with vendors. Here's Trevor Story, 2 for 2, double, a single, and a walk on the day, so he's had a really good day. Batting average is up over the Mendoza line now. He's hitting .216 on the year as Trevor Story. He swings and pulls one foul. So that'll continue through May 31, the paying of employees. There's a pitch low and away to Story. Again, teams have also agreed to advance $170 million to players in salary for the first 60 days of the season. Players agreed to give up claims to the remainder of their roughly $4 billion in salary if no games are played. Two-1 pitch to Story is swung on and chopped foul. There's also concerns about what will happen with the shortened Major League Baseball draft, especially baseball prospects. They're now facing quite an uncertain future. There's a swing and a ground ball hit towards second base. Wong will make the play for out number 2. That'll leave it up to Charlie Blackmon here in the bottom of the 7th. He's 0 for 3 on the day. Strike in the outside corner. Article at the Wall Street Journal from Jared Diamond about what's going to happen related to the draft as Blackmon lines one towards left field. That's going to drop for a base hit. 2-out single for Charlie Blackmon. They're going to reduce the size of the draft from the usual 40 rounds to potentially as few as 5 rounds this year and as few as 20 rounds next year. Meanwhile, players chosen will be forced to defer vast portions of their signing bonuses. In some cases, that's millions of dollars. There's Nolan Arenado. He's 2 for 3 today. Home run, single, and 3 runs batted in. 357 batting average on the year. 8 home runs and 20 runs batted in now. Of course, this is also a time we've talked about in this broadcast before how Major League Baseball has already proposed the overhaul of the minor leagues that could strip away as many as 42 teams from major league affiliations. And we talked about for the Rockies, that would be the Lancaster Jethawks and Grand Junction Rockies, the High A and Class A affiliates who we talked about in those situations. Minor league teams derive virtually all of their income from ticket sales and in-stadium experiences. So the probability of the canceled season is really rough for them. There's a line drive towards right center field. That's headed up the gap by Arenado. That's going to get down and go to the wall. Blackman on his way to third. He's going to be waved home by Stu Cole. Throw to the plate. And it's not in time. Blackman scores. Fourth RBI of the day for Arenado comes on a double. It's his third hit as well. It's 6-0 Rockies. First pitch to Daniel Murphy is taken for a strike, and of course most high schools have canceled their spring sports seasons, and most colleges have as well, so there's not a whole lot of scouting to see how those players are going to look and then eventually be drafted. Pitch to Murphy is swung on in line towards right center field. This one's into the gap, and that ball is going to be off the wall. Arenado will score, and we have Tacos. RBI double for Daniel Murphy. 7-0 Rockies as Arenado scores. Seventh double of the year for Murphy, and that'll bring up Ryan McMahon. We're going to have a double switch. Mike Schultz out to make a pitching change and a position change as well. John Gant is the new pitcher for the Cardinals. 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, 4 walks. Lefties have hit him better than righties. Only his 7th game.
John Gant, now playing center and batting 9. Number 48,
Harrison Bader will take over in center field. Ryan McMahon, the first batter Gant will face. The Rockies have been teeing off on the Cardinals pitching staff today. There's a strike. The draft was initially scheduled for June 10. That could be pushed back to July in hopes the summer leagues might be able to go on as planned. Man, check swing strike, and it's quickly 0-2 on him. Shortened draft means that hundreds of college juniors who would have been picked now won't be, so they are left with either collecting a $20,000 bonus and beginning their pro careers or going back to school and re-entering the draft next year. It's a $20,000 limit for undrafted players, which one MLB agent, the way he described that, is something we cannot repeat to you, how upset he was with that. Because typically it's as much as $125,000 when you count without counting against the team's bonus pool. We're through 7 innings. It's 7-0 Rockies. Matt Wieters leads off. In the 8th inning, he had a walk in this game that came back in the 5th inning. Otherwise, he's 0 for 1.
Matt Wieters.
The good news related to the draft is Carlos Estevez delivers a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. 30,732 in attendance today at Coors Field. Estevez out for his 2nd inning of work. There's a strike on the outside corner. Good thing is that the NCAA has granted all spring athletes an extra year of eligibility, but all those players who stay are still going to be a year older because the eligibility clock is stopped, but time is not. We talked about that and the potential concerns related to players who are trying to become free agents next year in the major leagues as well. That's a fair ball. Arenado wasn't able to get there on that pop-up, and Wieters will reach. That was a very odd-looking play. It'll be a base hit. They had the infield shifted for Wieters to pull, so Arenado not able to get over there. Typically a play he gets there for. Odd situation. Here's Harrison Bader now. Got his first plate appearance of the day. First pitch is high. There's a strike, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike now. New Mexico State coach Mike Kirby also trying to look on the bright side for college baseball. He said there's going to be an increased level of competition and higher level of play with fewer players jumping into pro ball. But the bad news is programs may be confronted with some really tough decisions. That misses, and it's 2-1 now on Bader. One official for Major League Baseball said that saving money with a shorter draft will allow teams to retain their current employees during uncertain times. Fly ball towards center field. On the run is Dahl. He will get there and make the catch for out number 1 here in the 8th inning. Here's how the starters have looked today. It was a good day for Senzatella. 4 1/3 innings, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, 4 hits allowed. Didn't give up any runs. Not a very lengthy day. Dakota Hudson also only going 4 innings, 4 runs allowed. Rockies have since scored 3 more. Here's Colton Wong. He's 0 for 3 in this ballgame. Leadoff batter for the Cardinals. But people around the game believe that the days of the 40-round draft may be over for good, especially with the potential cancellation of those minor league teams. There's a fly ball to right field, and it's over the head of Blackman. Wong almost caught up with Wieters, who had to wait to see if Blackman would make the catch, and also isn't very fleet of foot himself. Wieters is going to be held at third. It's a double for Colton Wong. Right off the barrel there. So this is what we're balancing with the drafts. The overwhelming majority of actual prospects are taken in the first 20 rounds. So it doesn't matter really from a player development standpoint when you talk about those first 40 round, the 40-round draft being cut down. As Fowler singles into center field, and a couple runs are going to score. So Wieters and Wong, and the Cardinals are on the board now. 2-run single for Dexter Fowler, his first hit of the ballgame at 7-2 Rockies. But the concern is not the player development standpoint. There are a lot of hopeful players who might have their dreams of playing pro baseball be canceled altogether because of the reduction of the draft. We're going to have a new pitcher for the Rockies. It's Tyler Kinley. 11 innings, 14 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Haven't seen him in a few days. 2.45 ERA on the year. He's got a 4.29 batting average against righties, and lefties have hit 115 against him. This is his 10th game of the year. 2-0 is Kinley. Relatively low-stress situation for him. There's a pitch in the dirt, and blocked by Walters. Fowler will have to stay put. 1 out here in the 8th. Also from Jared Diamond of the Wall Street Journal, he has more information about the coronavirus antibodies study. There's about 10,000 employees from 27 of Major League Baseball's 30 teams are being tested to see whether they've already been infected with the coronavirus, and the names of the 3 teams not participating were not revealed. Swing and a miss, and strike 2 now on Paul Goldschmidt. 1-2 the count. So, real baseball has been postponed, at least for the time being, but there's still quite a lot to talk about as we spent the first 8 innings of this ballgame talking about. Still a lot of question marks and a lot of decisions to be made, and a lot of lives that are really going to be impacted by this. Kinley's 2-2 pitch to Goldschmidt is taken in the dirt, and the count goes full. Again, blocked by Walters. And Kinley into his motion, holds that glove high above his head in the set position. Gets ready to deliver, and a 3-2 is strike 3 called. He got him on strikes. Goldschmidt was ready to toss the bat away and head to first base, but no sir, says the home plate umpire. Right now it's Jake McGee and James Pazos, a couple lefties warming up in the Rockies bullpen. We'll see who gets the 9th, or if Kinley pitches a 2nd inning of work. We've seen Kinley go multiple innings multiple times this year. Paul DeYoung will be the batter. First pitch is taken just a bit outside with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. There's McGee and Pazos, a couple of lefties, the 2 lefties for the Rockies. McGee has had a really good start to this year. Pazos has been solid as well. Very good start to the year for Kinley as well. Gets ready to deliver a 1-0 pitch to Paul DeYoung. And it's taken low and away with a slider at 88 miles per hour. Right now on first base is Dexter Fowler, whose 2-run single got the scoring started for the Cardinals here in the 8th. It's 7-2 Rockies. And that's a strike. 2-1 the count. Hitters count now for Paul DeYoung as Kinley gets ready to deliver his next pitch, 10th of the day. And here it comes. So it's a strike with a slider, and the count evens at 2.
Correct count, 2-2.
Kinley, brief look over his shoulder, or Fowler is at first base and delivers a 2-2. That's taken low, and the count goes full. Matt Carpenter waiting on deck. Should DeYoung keep it going here in the 8th. And that one's low ball 4. He walked him. That'll bring up Matt Carpenter with a couple runners on now for the Cardinals. Scott Oberg has now started to throw in the bullpen in case this game gets a little dicier. James Pazzo still warming up. McGee has sat down. Here is Matt Carpenter now. 7-2 Rockies. First pitch from Kinley to Carpenter is taken high with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And Kinley did not pitch at all in the series in San Diego, so he's certainly had a few days of rest. That swung on and popped foul by Carpenter. 1 ball and 1 strike. Carpenter has played first base, third base, second base in his career with the Cardinals, playing third base today. Paul Goldschmidt over there at first. 1-1 pitch is a check swing and a pitch low. He did not go with that slider. Now a hitter's count on Carpenter. And that swung on and pulled foul. Count evens at 2. Kinley just a strike away from getting out of this jam now. And that's a swing and a chop foul, just getting a piece is Carpenter, and we'll do it one more time. Carpenter wears lucky number 13 for the St. Louis Cardinals. That one's off the plate, and check swing did not go. And the count is full with Tyler O'Neill waiting on deck. Carpenter made his major league debut in 2011 with the Cardinals. He's played every year of his career for them. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Carpenter goes down on strikes, and that'll retire the side. We go to the bottom of the 8th at 7-2 Rockies. Desmond Wolters in the pitcher spot due up. Ian Desmond leads off the bottom of the 8th. It's John Brebbia and Alex Reyes, a couple of righties warming up in the bullpen for the Cardinals. John Gant still on the mound. Desmond 2 for 3 today, a home run, his first home run of the year, and a single. Batting average up to 250 now. Just a few games ago, we were looking at it dropping below 200, so this goes to show you how quickly things can change early on in the year, still in the month of April. Pitch inside of the 96-mile-an-hour fastball from Gant. It's 1-0. It shakes off Wieters a couple times. Now he gets the sign he likes into his motion. The windup and the 1-0 pitch to Desmond is swung on and fouled out of play. Desmond a couple days off in San Diego. 1-1 pitch after he had started every single game of the season to start the season. There's Brebbia and Reyes warming up in the Cardinals bullpen. Now it's Arenado, Murphy, and McMahon, the only 3 Rockies who have started every single game so far. All 19 of them. 2-1 pitch, hitter's count on Desmond is swung on and fouled back. Count evens at 2. Windup in the 2-2 pitch from Gant is taken outside, and the count goes full with Tony Wolters waiting on deck. Arenado's got 4 RBIs and has a few hits on the game today. There's a ground ball foul. Story has an RBI double. Dahl hit his team-leading 10th double of the year. Into his motion, the windup and the 3-2 pitch from Gant to Desmond is swung on and fouled out of play. And one more time, a 3-2 to Desmond is swung on and lined foul. This will be at least a 9-pitch at bat to Ian Desmond, making John Gant work in a 7-2 Rockies-led ball game here in the bottom of the 8th. And here comes a 3-2 one more time. That swung on and missed to get him on strikes. And that is out number 1 here in the bottom of the 8th. That'll bring up Tony Wolters. Catcher for the Rockies. Gant into his motion. The windup and first pitch to Wolters is swung on and chopped weakly towards first base. Goldschmidt will step on the bag himself. That's out number 2 in the pitcher's spot now due up. We'll see who could take the appearance here. Garrett Hampson, Chris Owings, and Sam Hilliard on the bench, as well as Elias Diaz. I don't think we will see the catcher pinch hit. It's going to be Chris Owings. See, 222 on the year is a really good on-base percentage, 391. It's very small sample either way. First pitch from Gant to Owings is swung on and lifted in the air towards left center field. On the run is O'Neill. He will get there and squeeze it for out number 3. We go to the 9th. Rockies trying to end this ball game with their 7-2 lead intact. It's James Pazos to try to get the final 3 outs of this ball game. 10 in the 3rd innings, 11 strikeouts, 6 walks, a 4.35 ERA. Hasn't given up many hits. 1-0 is his record. This is his 10th appearance of the year. Didn't start the season with a big league club, but has stayed up ever since his recall from AAA. Jake McGee warming up in the bullpen in case Pazos runs into any trouble. Tyler O'Neill will be the batter. He's 0 for 3 in this ball game. 7-2 Rockies. Good start to this homestand. First pitch is taken for a strike with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball to O'Neill. That swung on and pulled towards third base, but it's foul outside the bag. Pazos gets the sign he likes into his windup, and the 0-2 pitch is up and in with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. O'Neill having something to say about that one. Don't think Pazos would be trying to hit him intentionally. In this situation, it's 1-2 the count now, and the pitch is swung on and popped up. Going out is the first baseman Murphy. He should have a play on this, and he will squeeze it over his shoulder in foul territory for out number 1. Good location on that one, coming inside, and we'll have a pinch hitter. It's Yadier Molina. 226 on the year, home runs, 7 runs batted in. First pitch from Pazos is taken low and in. Molina not a very patient hitter. On base percentage at .273, never has been. Usually he's been able to get the average and on base a little bit higher just by virtue of swinging the bat, however. 1-0 pitch from Pazos is swung on and lined towards right field. Coming in is Blackman. He's going to dive, and it's by him. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Molina on his way to second base, and he will take a wide turn, but he'll hold there with a double. As if Blackman could do it again, might have just tried to play this one on a hop. Might have gotten by him either way. That'll be a double here for Yadier Molina in his pinch hit appearance here in the 9th. Matt Wieters, the other Cardinals catcher, will take the appearance, and he takes first pitch 94-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. I'm surprised we don't see a pinch runner for Molina. Seems like he'd want to rest his legs a little bit. Wieters has not played often this year. He's 2 for 12. Molina getting the majority of the starts. Wieters starting in game 1 here in Colorado. 0-1 pitch is taken low and in. 1 ball and 1 strike on Wieters. Wieters is a first-round pick by the Orioles in 2007. 5th overall out of the Georgia Institute of Technology. in Atlanta, Georgia. Pazos gets ready to deliver a 1-2 pitch. Here it is, and it's taken outside. (2009 to 2016) with the Orioles for Wieters, and a couple years in the Nationals. Then with the Cardinals, there he swings and misses. That's out number 2. Pazos collects a strikeout. Now the Cardinals are down to their final out in this one.
Now batting, the center fielder, Harrison Bader.
Harrison Bader will be the batter. Pazos looks over at second base. I don't think Molina will be running. First pitch is inside with a breaking ball to Bader. He's 0 for 1, flied out in the 8th inning in his first plate appearance of this ballgame. Came in on a double switch to play center field. Lane Thomas started in center field. He had a stolen base and a couple hits today. Pitch from Pazos is taken for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike now on Bader. And this 1-1 is low and away. Hitter's count now for Bader. 1 out left for Pazos to get here in the 9th. Looks at second and delivers a 2-1. That's swung on and missed. Strike 2. Pazos just needs 1 more strike to secure the win in Game 1 against the Cardinals here at Coors Field on this homestand for this weekend series. And just a bit outside, count goes full. Colton Wong waiting on deck. Should Bader keep things going? (3-2) delivery is swung on and lined right into the glove of the first baseman, Daniel Murphy, and that's your ball game. Good win for the Rockies today. They win it 7-2. We'll see who the player of the game honors go to. I think Nolan Arenado might be in line, as he had 4 runs batted in this one, including a home run. 7-2 Rockies, your final. They win this first game against the Cardinals this year, first game of the homestand. We're looking at Jeff Hoffman now because he's going to get the win in this ballgame. Antonio Senzatello only pitched 4 in the 3rd innings. He was solid, but Bud Black was just thinking he was throwing a little too many pitches out there. Hoffman gets the win. He's now 1-0. Dakota Hudson gets the loss. He's 1-1. 7-2 Rockies, your final. Rockies have 10 hits in the ball game, do have 1 error, and Cardinals get 7 hits. 8 hits make that. Arenado is the player of the game. 3 for 4 today. Home run and a double. 4 runs batted in, 2 runs scored. Trevor Story also 2 for 3, a double. RBI, 2 runs scored. Ian Desmond 2 for 4, his first home run of the year. A run batted in and a run scored. Daniel Murphy 1 for 4 with an RBI double as well. Jeff Hoffman goes 1 2/3 innings for the win. Dakota Hudson in his 4 innings of work and the loss. 3 walks, 4 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, 6 hits. And Colton Wong has a double for the Cardinals, also a double for Paul DeYoung and for Yadier Molina, pinch hitting in the 9th. Lane Thomas goes 2 for 3 with a stolen base as well. This has been Ben Kuchner-Kavich letting you know this broadcast is not affiliated with the Colorado Rockies, the Major League Baseball, or MLB The Show 20, and we want to thank you for tuning in. We'll take a look at the box scores before this game is over.